So now let's talk about Star Trek Prodigy and how this week it was surprisingly revealed that the series has been canceled. Not just canceled, but that the studio Paramount reversed its decision on a season 2 pickup, and that second season is already in post-production. So this story comes from the Hollywood Reporter, and they state that the Paramount Global backed streamer has canceled Grease Rise of the Pink Ladies after a single season and reversed its decision on a season 2 pickup for the animated and kids-focused Star Trek Prodigy. Additionally, all these shows will be removed from Paramount Plus as the conglomerate joins Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery in taking tax write-offs for underperforming series. So it's obvious that Star Trek Prodigy has not been the hit that Paramount has tried to convince us that it is. I think that the first season is a really weird first season because not only is it 20 episodes, but it's 10 episodes that are spread out a year apart. So they released the first 10 episodes and then they waited a year to release the next 10. That is super weird. And I think that there is a definite shift in tone between the first 10 and the back 10. I don't think that the show knew what kind of show it was. I think at the beginning, the producers of the show wanted to be very, very kid focused, like laser focused on getting kids interested in Star Trek. And it just wasn't working because I thought the episodes were really silly. And I don't know that kids were even tuned in to watch this because I don't think kids care about Star Trek like this. I mean, I have an 11-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they could care less about what I do. I mean, they don't know anything about Star Trek, no matter how much I try and show them. They know about Baby Yoda, but they don't know. They don't know anything about Star Wars besides Baby Yoda. But they really don't know anything about Star Trek. And I think Star Trek was kind of trying to create their own Baby Yoda with Prodigy somehow, and it just didn't work. And then the second part of the first season of Prodigy, it seems to be now they shifted to getting more Star Trek fans interested in the show. Like there's way more references and way more characters show up from Star Trek's past in the second half of the first season than does in the first half. And I think that that's by design. I think that they realized after that first 10 episodes that they were not getting the draw from kids that they expected or that they were trying to get. And they were like, well, the only way we're going to save this is to get diehard Star Trek fans to watch it. A lot of Star Trek fans see everything as a unicorn. Anything that has a Star Trek tag on it, they will like and they will watch and they will support. And that's fine. I'm not casting aspersions. But as a reviewer, as someone who can be a conscientious objector, I can say that this is not a good show. It's very muddled in terms of tone and, who the show is made for. I've stated that I was surprised that it got a season 2 pickup and that I was not surprised when it didn't get a season 3 pickup when the other renewals were announced just a few months ago. But I am surprised that they decided to kill it at this point because that second season is already mostly done. So the story behind that is that Star Trek Prodigy was renewed for a season 2 in November of 2021 and was a key push by franchise captain Alex Kurtzman to introduce the property to a younger generation. The series will complete post-production on season 2 of Prodigy, and producers CBS Studios will shop both seasons to a new buyer. So this means that they are going to complete season 2 because they've already done a ton of work on it, and they're going to try and sell it to like Netflix or Roku or some other streaming service that will buy it and show it on their networks. This also means that the first season of Star Trek Prodigy will be removed and may be removed by the time this podcast is released. I do think that having a new season almost complete makes this property more attractive for another buyer because you have possibly 20 episodes of new content that you can use, or maybe you can go back and say, I want to change a couple things or something like that. But you have a lot of new content and you have 20 episodes of established content. And this is Star Trek, so people are going to watch it because it's Star Trek. So I think that this makes Star Trek Prodigy more attractive to a potential buyer. And like I said, maybe we'll see it on Amazon or Netflix in the near future. But I think that if the show ever gets a season 3, it just needs to find its center. It needs to figure out who the show is for. Are you trying to get, teens or preteens to like Star Trek? Are you trying to do cool things in animation with Star Trek? Because Star Trek Prodigy was a beautiful show. I'm not going to take anything away from the way Star Trek Prodigy looks on screen. I think that everything from the intro to the way the characters are drawn and the alien planets, it's a beautiful show. So there are good parts already with Prodigy. You know, you've got Kate Mulgrew, you've got a couple other people from Star Trek's past attached to this project. You've got a pretty decent voice cast. I did like Riley Elizraki as Rok-Tahk, and I liked Gwyn. I thought that Gwyn was a very interesting character, and I thought that Rok-Tahk was a very interesting character. But yeah, I can't remember the blue guy. I must have like blocked it out because I really don't like that character. Yeah, I just think the show needs to find its center if it's going to get a third season. It needs to figure out, is this going to be a beautiful show that adults that like Star Trek can watch and can maybe see some things in animation that you wouldn't be able to see on screen because it's too expensive or maybe not even possible? Or are you going to go back to trying to get this to be for kids and maybe even release it on a more kid-friendly streaming service like Caboodle or something? Like, if you're going to go for kids, like, just go all in and go for kids, because I think that just like walking the line doesn't really cut it for me. And I think that in the future, in the near future, Paramount will use its new series, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, to attract younger audience. I think by Paramount walking away from Prodigy, it doesn't mean they're walking away from garnering a younger audience. It just means that they're kind of cutting ties with something that's not working. And they had this new idea, Starfleet Academy, that they think will work and will bring in younger audiences. And they're just going to say, you know, we're walking away from this table and we're placing our bets at this table now. And that's how it's going to be going forward. But, you know, let me know, what do you think of this news? Do you think that Star Trek Prodigy does have a future? Did you like that show? I know from the comments that I've gotten in the past, not a lot of people that watch my channel like Star Trek Prodigy. But if you're the exception, let me know. I mean, if you want to support this series, leaving comments on YouTube videos is a great way to do it, because the studios do look at that. So, you know, let me know in the comments, what do you think of Star Trek Prodigy? And are you surprised that it's not only canceled, but that Paramount Plus won't even be showing the second season on its streaming service, even though it's already almost done? Let me know if you think that's crazy in the comments below. Hey everyone, Eric here. Thanks for joining me, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. This was taken from my weekly podcast, WDIM News, which you can catch each Monday on this channel. If you would like to check out the full podcast, you can do so by clicking on this video here. Make sure that you not only hit the like button to help support me, but also hit the subscribe button so that you know when my new videos come out. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next time on What Did I Miss?